The markets are absolutely screaming to the downside, and a lot of people don't know what to do. And they don't know if this is still just a correction or if it's worse, if we're entering a bear market and we're having a stock market crash right in front of our eyes. In this video, we're going to be talking about whether or not this is the COVID crash, if this is like the 2022 crash, bear market, if this is the housing bubble, or if this is the .com crash. Then you better buckle up, because that's 83% to the downside that we could see, sub $100 per share on the QQQs. The markets have absolutely been screaming to the downside. We already know that. And we've cut through like a hot knife through butter, through all of these resistances that we've made and built over the whole year of 2024. So 2024 has basically been all but completely washed away. If you look at the QQQ, this is January 2024. And we opened at $402.84. We closed at $422.67. We were about $20 away from closing at the same level that we started 2024 at, after the raging bull market to the upside. Massive just selling, panic selling, everything going on right now. And, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I can say is that the chances and probabilities of us entering a bear market are getting higher and higher every single day. I'll tell you this 411 to 423.66 area, this is basically, in my opinion, the last chance for this market to say, hey, this was just a short-term correction. Now we're going to start going higher. Because on this chart, we actually are in crash territory, because we're down over 20% on the QQQ. And the only reason we're not there on the entire market is because if you look here at the S&P 500, we are down 17.3%. If we cross 20% down, then at that point, if we cross it, so on the SPY, it would be 485 to about 495. If we cross that, then essentially we're going to be in bear market territory, stock market crash on the S&P 500 as well. And then you can just kiss this market goodbye. And then best case scenario, we would see something like the COVID crash. And it's given vibes of the COVID crash because the downside is so violent and quick right now. It's so violent, so quick. Just straight 2 months of 7.6%, and then almost 10%, followed by on Thursday and Friday, you had back-to-back 5% plus down day and then a 6% plus down day. So the COVID crash coming down here, which would perfectly align us with where we our previous high during the 2021 bubble. We hit our high there, and then that's when we went into the bear market and went down 38%. So we could see something like the COVID crash. That would be the best case scenario. Besides, us kind of stopping here and then going to the upside now. But I really just don't see that. At this point, it really looks like the COVID crash is probably the most and highest probability. And that would put us at the bottom of this bullish channel that you see we started back during the COVID crash. And then we retested during the bear market of 2022. And then we would be coming back down here, right, for the COVID crash of 28.7% to retest this bottom of this still bullish channel, multi-year bullish channel, and then continue to the upside. If that happens, then this is going to be a massive buying opportunity, because you would be buying in sub 400 and we would be going back to 550 plus up to $600 per share on the QQQs. So big probability there. I probably put it about, I can't remember what I said. I think I put it at like 40 some percent or something. Highest probability is the COVID crash, just with the speed of how we're coming down here. So I would think that 385 to about 400, that's our area to kind of, hit and then kind of consolidate and then get back to the highs here. We might not just shoot down there and get there right away. we could see something where we see a bounce up here to 438 or something, and then we continue down. I really feel like if we do just crush down, the rest of this month and next month, and then get down here, April and May, then I do believe this is the COVID crash, because that how quick that was to get down here when this is nothing like COVID was at all. Then I believe it'd be the COVID crash more likely. It could be the 2022 crash, and that would bring us down to about 330 to about 348, and that would basically, in my mind, if we break the COVID level here, then we would be moving down here to the 2022 crash level bear market, and we would be in a bear market at that point. We're going to drop 38.74%. 28.7% is still a bear market as well, but the speed that it's happening, you could see a V shape, just like you saw with COVID, just instantly down and then just shot up, right? So 2022 crash is obviously the next highest probability. I put it at probably 40%. So I probably put COVID at 50% chance, 2022 crash at 40% chance, and then these are like less than 5% chances, honestly. I don't think we see a 2008 53% down or an 83% down, but it could happen. And that's what I wanted to show all of these outcomes here for you, that it could happen. You don't know. Right now it's tariffs. If tech comes out and these big companies start reporting when earnings are coming out here, banks are about to report next week. If they start coming out and lowering guidance and really showing cracks in the economy, and then cracks turn into crumbling companies and crumbling banks, then yeah, you're gonna see a very vicious, because we're already down so much based off just tariffs. So banks going under, credit issues, housing issues, then you probably more likely see 2022 crash. And then if more stuff piles onto that, then you probably see the 2008 housing bubble. So yeah, it's vicious out there, guys. And my strategy here, the Williams consolidation box, it's very good at predicting these types of things. You see, we have our Williams percentage range. We are in a bull market when we're up here and we're inside a box. When we're inside that box and continue back and forth, we just continue higher, along with a green high five indicator on the monthly. And then you see, once we break out of that Williams consolidation box, what happens? You see us just dwindle lower, and then obviously that signifies a bear market. Sometimes you get these crazy down and ups, like back in 2018 during the growth scare, and then here in 2020 with the COVID crash, you just shot down, shot back up, shot down, shot back up, but you did cross this negative 50 threshold. Now, the thing here is, we didn't just cross the negative 50 threshold, we punched right through the negative 50 threshold, and we are now all the way down here to almost at the green support beam. What the green support beam is whenever you roll back, you see every time we've gotten close to or we've hit that green support beam, what happens? We bounce, 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 baby, bounce, right? So it's a very stiff line of defense and says you can't go any lower once you hit this. You can kind of bounce up and have a snapback and continue sideways and build a bearish Williams consolidation box. And until you break out of that, the stock market's just going to keep going lower and lower and lower. And there's the .com bubble here, obviously, and so where we are right now, it's just like it's all kind of lining up for one or two. One COVID crash, two 2022 crash. And it's lining up for there because we're almost at the green support beam. And yes, we can continue sideways in a Williams consolidation box, but we're already there. During the 2022 crash, like, we dropped a lot, and we were just like here at the negative 50 when we had dropped a lot. And then it took us, big moves down to get down here where we are right now. Like, big moves. Like, let's see. It took us 25% down. We're at 21% right now. So Yeah, it took a lot, and we didn't go straight down like we did right here. We went, we had some snapbacks. We had a lot of wicks here. These are just two big ass bullish, bearish engulfing candles, guys. Just two big ass engulfing candles. So, yeah, it's just looking like a COVID crash. It's funny because looking at the QQQ, a COVID like crash, which it seems like we were having, puts us at the bottom of this bullish channel from 2020 from COVID. A COVID like crash on the SPY, that we have this bullish channel, puts us right here at this retest of previous highs in 2021 and keeps us in the bullish 2020 COVID, beginning of the COVID pandemic and bullish channel. And again, we're right here at the bottom and right there about to be at the green barrier. And you see when we hit the green barrier, we get big spikes off of typically. So if this is COVID-like crash, then I see us cratering down here to these resistance area, these support areas. So we're talking, 446 up to 496, somewhere in this area. And then I see a V-shaped recovery. And then we start, not in a straight line, but just, climbing up, and we get up to, 660 plus. If this isn't that, then I see a bounce this week, big time. I see a bounce up to, I see a bounce up to 446 to 454. I see a bounce up here before we head lower, down to about 400 on the QQQ. And I see that bounce just because we're at the 100-day moving average. We went through it. We're at the anchored VWAP. We are inside the green barrier on the weekly. We are close to it on the monthly. We're inside of it on the daily right here. So we are due for some sort of a bounce. And I think that comes in like a gap fill. Gap fill out to 450, maybe a double gap fill. We could get up to 466. That'd be a crazy bounce, crazy little rally. And then we continue down. So lots of different scenarios here, guys. There's not just one scenario. Like I said, it can do that, or it can just continue to go straight down and, hit into this 350, 400 area. A lot of different things can happen. All while BTC, Bitcoin, is holding up pretty well, but I think that is about to, if markets continue to move down, then I think Bitcoin is also going to lose its way and then continue down as well. I think it could get down between, 64,000 and 77,000 area. I think get down here. And you see as well, we broke out of the Williams consolidation box. And do I really have to go back and show you what happened when we break out of Williams consolidation boxes? It's not pretty. When we break out of Williams consolidation boxes, you better start paying attention, and you better make sure that you're not about to get margin called like a lot of people did on Friday and Thursday. More so Friday though. You better make sure, because when we break out of Williams consolidation boxes, that's when it gets really bad. And Bitcoin, guess what? It just broke out of the Williams consolidation box. And that's typically not good. When you break out of these, typically you find yourself down here at the green barrier, and that is a long way down from where we are right now. I could show it to you time and time again. I've done these videos in the past where I've predicted markets and cryptos by doing this. You break out, we go down. You break out, we go down. This one stopped here, but that was still a long way down. And then it rebounded, got back up here, didn't build a new box, and then shot right down here for a big crash, right? And then these just kind of hit and deflected and went down. But this was early days, 2011, 2010, 2013. So yeah, Bitcoin holders, crypto holders, get ready. Get ready. If we don't reclaim this Williams consolidation box before the end of April, Bitcoin's cooked. 100%. then it's going to come down here. It could go lower too, guys. Like it can come down here. There's some pretty key support and resistance. 50,000, 60,000. Be careful. Don't look at Bitcoin and sit there and say, oh, it's barely down. Like, yes, you can analyze that and look into that, but just because it's not down doesn't mean, like, it might just be waiting for the like something bigger. And if something bigger does come, then it's really going to crater. So you just need to be careful, guys. Williams consolidation box is broke on that. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a like, follow, subscribe. Thanks for all the community members that are always watching all of this stuff to the end. I hope this gives you value. I hope this continues to help you improve as a trader, as an investor. And if you want to join our awesome community, the link's in my bio below. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you Monday.